Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing great today. So, we finally got the brand new update for Dragon Ball FighterZ, version 1.40. And man, it's honestly one of the most interesting patches the game has had in years. It's not just a small adjustment or a few bug fixes, this is a real system shakeup that changes how matches feel on a core level. I've been playing around with it since it dropped, watching people test things out, and I've got to say, this patch feels like a love letter to both competitive players and longtime fans who wanted something fresh to keep the game alive. Let's talk about the big new thing first, because it's what everyone's experimenting with, the perfect Z reflect. This mechanic right here changes the rhythm of both offense and defense. Basically, if you time your reflect perfectly, instead of just bouncing the opponent off you, the game gives you a short screen freeze, almost like a little cinematic pause. It's subtle, but it gives you a window to respond. And if you vanish out of that moment, you actually get invincibility on the startup of your vanish. That means you can punish aggressive strings in ways that weren't possible before. It's all about that precise timing, though. If your timing is off, you're still getting punished just like before. It's a really cool way to reward players who've put in the lab time and know their matchups. It's one of those mechanics that doesn't look flashy at first, but the more you use it, the more depth you realize it adds to the game. Now, one of the next things people are loving is how smoother and faster key charge interactions feel. Before, key charging was kind of a risky move unless you were full screen or forcing a knockdown. In this patch, you can cancel out of it faster. And the big change, you can actually go straight into Dragon Rush or Super Dash right after a key charge. It feels much more fluid, almost like the system wants you to stay moving instead of getting punished for trying to build meter. And here's another slick detail. When you do a Dragon Rush out of a key charge, it can now deflect key blasts during the approach. It gives that move a sense of armor it didn't have before, and it adds a layer of mind games because opponents can't just spam zoning tools safely if they think you might key charge into a Dragon Rush punish. Speaking of assists, this update really made some quality of life changes to how assists and tagging work. Z assists A and B now come back faster, meaning your team combos can extend a lot more naturally. You don't have to wait as long between calls, and that opens up so many more setups for pressure or resets. The Z change also feels better because the cooldown is shorter, which means you can rotate your team more effectively. There's also a neat tweak to guard cancel change. If your opponent blocks it, you actually regain control mid-air now, so you're not left floating helplessly in certain situations. It feels fairer and way more flexible, especially in corner pressure situations where before, one bad guard cancel could basically lose you the game. And this one might sound small, but it makes a difference. When you're in limit-breaking power, your key gauge now passively fills over time. That's such a good design choice. It gives you a reason to play aggressively or set up big supers in clutch moments. It makes those solo comeback situations feel cinematic again. Limit Break used to feel like a mild buff, but now it actually has a strategic resource element tied to it, and it just fits the theme of Dragon Ball so well. That never give up energy that defines the series. So that's the broad overview of the system changes, but let's get into what's happening with individual characters, because this patch really touches everyone in some way. Starting off with Goku, the classic Super Saiyan version, he feels faster and more responsive now. His Super Kamehameha comes out a bit quicker, which makes his confirms feel cleaner. Warp Kamehameha got some love too. It connects more consistently behind opponents, and you can even Super Dash during the move now, letting you combo or pressure differently. It's not some wild rework, but it gives Goku that little extra flexibility that makes him more fun to play. Then there's Vegeta. And yes, the base Super Saiyan Vegeta is back on the map. Big Bang Attack has more stun now, and the Crushing Knee got an improvement, especially the grounded version. The move feels faster and safer in neutral, and when combined with assist pressure, Vegeta can stay in your face longer. He's not suddenly top tier again, but it's enough to make people reconsider running him as a mid character or even point depending on team composition. Piccolo also got some solid buffs. His Demon Slicer, both medium and heavy versions, now cause a ground bounce on hit, which opens up new combo paths. The heavy version can even pass through on hit, giving him that tricky mix potential again. His C assist also blocks longer and starts faster on block, which means he's even better for screen control. All these little details make Piccolo feel smoother and reward his unique playstyle. Team Gohan fans have something to smile about too. He's faster overall, his normals feel sharper, and Super Dragon Flight, that iconic flurry, has been improved for more consistent hits. His father-son Kamehameha also got some hitstun and knockback adjustments, which makes his level 1 finishers feel a lot more reliable. It's nothing game-breaking, but it helps him feel less rigid. Frieza got a whole bunch of adjustments that make him feel way more dangerous. His normals, especially standing unique, have better damage scaling, and he moves a bit smoother overall. Some of his air moves have reduced landing lag, which means he can zone and retreat more effectively. Frieza has always been about controlling space, and now it actually feels like he has the frame advantage to keep people where he wants them. And now let's talk Bardock, because wow, this guy's feeling really strong again. His medium attacks are faster, his Rebellion Spear got more stun, and his Raging Meteor has projectile invulnerability now, plus more chip damage. On top of that, Riot Javelin has new variations, which just makes him feel like a threat again. Bardock mains have been asking for these changes for a while, and now he's got that spark back. Literally. You can tell they wanted to bring back that aggressive, in-your-face Bardock energy from the early days of the game. The new ground bounce routes off his 204 Ingam and 24H make his combos look flashy and brutal. Expect to see him hopping up in tournament teams again really soon. What I like about this patch is how it doesn't just buff for the sake of buffing. It feels like the dev team really looked at what made certain characters fun and tried to amplify that. They didn't overcomplicate things or give everyone wild gimmicks. Instead, they just gave more flexibility, smoother flow, and more player expression. And let's not ignore the community reaction. The energy around this update has been super positive. People are posting new tech constantly, and you can feel the excitement coming back to FighterZ. Perfect Z Reflect is already being called one of the best additions the game's ever had because it adds this layer of tension and creativity to every fight. Watching players experiment with vanish follow-ups, seeing those frame-perfect reversals, it's honestly refreshing. It makes defense feel active again instead of just blocking and waiting. Even casual players are enjoying the patch because the game feels smoother overall. Assists are more available, tag options flow better, and that extra meter gain during limit break makes it easier to pull off those flashy finishers everyone loves. FighterZ has always been about those big anime moments, beam clashes, transformations, cinematic supers, and this update just amplifies that energy. And of course, let's not forget, this patch is available across all platforms. Whether you're on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, or Switch, you're getting this same gameplay experience. For PS5 and Series XS players, it's technically listed as version 1.00.007, but it's the same update under the hood. It's awesome that Bandai Namco kept everything synced like that. Now, one of the things I think is underrated about this patch is how it indirectly buffs creativity in the game. Because assists come back faster and Z changes have shorter cooldowns, team compositions suddenly feel way more open. People can build around their favorite characters without worrying as much about assist limitations. It gives more freedom to experiment, and that's the kind of thing that keeps a game alive long term. I've seen people already coming up with wild synergy between Goku's faster Kamehameha, Piccolo's new ground bounce, and Bardock's enhanced pressure strings. Stuff that used to feel too slow or too strict now feels possible, and that's what's exciting. The sandbox of FighterZ just got bigger. The funny part is that even though this isn't a new season update, it feels like one. There's a new pace to the game, matches flow differently. Defensive players can actually show off their timing skills with perfect Z Reflect. Offensive players can push pressure further with faster assists. And overall, fights just have this fast, cinematic rhythm again. And you know how sometimes when a patch drops, it feels like it fixes one thing but breaks two others? This doesn't feel like that at all. Everything just seems smoother and more stable. The balance feels intentional. Sure, there will always be a few characters who might rise a little too high after any patch, but overall, it's looking good. People are already calling this one of the best updates FighterZ has had since launch. It's also interesting to think about where this leaves the game. We've heard rumors about rollback netcodes still being supported and refined, and now with this balance pass, it feels like the devs are really giving the game a second wind. Maybe they're not ready to close the book just yet. This could be a sign that FighterZ is here to stay for a while longer, and that's honestly the best news for fans who've been around since 2018. At the end of the day, this patch just makes the game fun again. It reminds you why you love Dragon Ball. The fast-paced battles, the comeback potential, the high-stakes moments where one mistake turns into a massive punish. Perfect Z Reflect alone brings that tension back. When you land it clean and punish your opponent with a Vanish combo, it feels incredible. So if you haven't updated yet, go boot up the game, jump into training mode, and start feeling out these new changes. Even if you're not a hardcore competitive player, you'll notice the smoother pacing right away. And if you're a veteran, there's so much to explore. From Bardock's new routes to the improved limit break utility, it's a playground again. That's pretty much everything going on with Dragon Ball FighterZ's new update. It's fast, it's fresh, and it breathes new life into a game that deserved it. I think this patch is going to make a lot of people fall in love with the game all over again. And honestly, that's the best kind of update you could ask for. So yeah, that's my full breakdown and impressions after spending a good while with the new patch. I'll be making some follow-up content soon with combo showcases, tech guides, and matchup talk once the dust settles and people figure out the new meta. But for now, just enjoy the chaos, practice those perfect Z reflex, and keep the Dragon Ball energy alive. I'll catch you all in the next one.